Hi, everyone. This is Evan with Team Evan, and I am so excited to welcome you to this week's 7 with Evan, where I have a very special guest who is very near and dear to my heart. Her name is Tekki Lomnicki, and she is the artistic director and founder of the Tellin Tales Theater Company. And I am so excited as someone who serves on the board and has a passion for theater and all things theater related. I'm really excited to have Tekki here with us today on this week's 7 with Evan. So welcome, Tekki.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, as Evan said, I'm the artistic director and founder of Tellin Tales Theater. And I started the theater with two other people. Back in 1995 was when we had our first play. And then in 96, we incorporated and actually began, having a official not-for-profit. Let's see, I live in the city. I'm single. I also work a full-time job. I'm an advertising copywriter at True Value Company, which sounds boring, but it's actually pretty fun. I think that's about it about me.
Great. So why don't you tell us about your passion for theater and telling tales and all of that wonderful stuff that you do?
Okay. Well, I kind of feel like the whole thing that has happened is kind of divine intervention. Like it was always supposed to happen. And the people that were supposed to come along with me on the journey appeared, which is really great. So I'd always loved theater. Even as a little kid, I'd have plays in our backyard and have my poor brothers act out the parts. And now they don't want to come to my plays anymore, but that's okay. So, uh, and then I really got bitten by the theater bug in high school because our director and drama teacher in high school really believed that the stage belonged to everybody. People with disabilities, people of all races, even though we didn't have a lot of different races in Elmhurst, Illinois. But he just really believed in inclusion, and he believed in me. And so then I was in the plays in high school, even was assistant directing a lot. And so that's kind of where I got the love of directing. But I've always mainly been a performer and a writer, which is really my passion. So what happened was I didn't do theater in high school, and then friends of mine from high school theater, department, other theater geeks, decided that we would kind of resuscitate Elmhurst Community Theater. So it was so fun because we could put on whatever musicals we wanted, and the Park District sponsored us, which was really great. And then I was working in advertising, and a friend from advertising asked me if I would write a play with him about a woman who is a folk artist that he met on a bus. So I said, well, yeah, I'd love to meet her. Let's figure this out. So we met this really wonderful African-American folk artist lady. She told us her stories, and we crafted it into a play. It called When Heck Was a Puppy. And what we did is we preliminarily applied for an NEA grant, a National Endowment for the Arts grant, with a short video. And I played her. It didn't really matter that I was an African American. I was supposed to be just from New Orleans. And the people, the NEA people said, hey, since your actor has a disability, why aren't you talking about that? And then bing, the light went off. Like, why isn't anybody talking about disability in theater? So that's kind of where my big passion was born. The passion to include people with disabilities in theater like I was, and for people to tell their stories, to really get in there and tell stuff that might be kind of difficult to tell. And the best part about doing that is that it connects um, mainstream audiences to people with disabilities. Like, I think that, not saying all people, but some people think, oh, people with disabilities are very different from us. And really, we're not different. That, I mean, we are different, yes, let's face it, but we're not so different. I mean, we have the same stuff going on. We have loss, we have love, we have work, we have, you know, trials and tribulations. And when you tell your story, when you really get out there and connect with an audience, it it's magic, I feel. It just really is. So what happened was, I was auditioning before we started the theater for various mainstream plays and didn't get them. And that's why when my friend Michael Blackwell asked me to write this play and perform in it, I was very excited about it, because back then there weren't a lot of people with disabilities in theater, at least here in Chicago. Um, but the thing that really started me on my big journey was that the former First Lady of Chicago, Maggie Daley, met Michael at an event, and he was telling her about When Heck Was a Puppy. And she said, oh my gosh, that's cool. I am starting a theater camp for middle school kids with and without disabilities, mixing them. And I'm looking for people, I'm looking for a theater company to run it. So Michael decides that he was just going to volunteer me without asking, because I was a freelance writing at the time and would have time during the day. And I decided, well, yeah, I don't think you can really say no to the mayor's wife. So that totally changed my perspective on theater, because I saw that these kids with disabilities were fearless, really fearless. And it was an opportunity to train the next generation to be inclusive. It was just an amazing thing. So like I said, you know, I think all these things happened for a reason. Um, Maggie Daly, meeting Michael, writing When Heck Was a Puppy, all of this. So um, that's really, really the journey. And Tellin Tales is going even further with it. And we're writing a musical, a full-length musical, which we're hoping someday to get on Broadway. And it's about, it's shedding a spotlight on the disability experience, using actors with disabilities, not people pretending to have a disability. Um, and another thing that I feel very strongly about in Tellin Tales Theater is that it's a mix of people with and without disabilities. You don't really want it. I don't really want it to be like this thing like, oh, that's a little theater for people with disabilities. No, it's a theater for people that, uh, you know, where they feel included. And it doesn't matter if you have a disability or not. Just, and there have been so many stories about how, especially kids come to us when it's weird. It's like when they need us. Like one girl, It was our first show. And it was called Six Stories Up. It's still called Six Stories Up, this mentoring show we do every year. She came to us, her aunt recommended her, and she said she would mentor her because her mom was dying of breast cancer, and her aunt thought that she really needed something to, you know, help her along with this. And it was so cool because the two of them wrote this piece about it was a very mythical piece about life after death. It was just really, really beautiful. And after the show closed, we did it for 2 weekends. Her mom died that Monday, and they did the piece at the memorial, which was really, really beautiful. So this helped that girl.
Wow, that's so great. And I think what's so awesome about Tellin Tales and everything that you've done and built is the the idea of the theater company is to be inclusive of people with disabilities and without. Anybody is welcome. And I think the part that I love is its storytelling. And so everybody has a story to tell, and the theater company gives people that opportunity. And I think that's so important and so wonderful. And having been a part of the organization for many years, it's been really great to just watch, the children in Six Stories Up come alive on stage and be so excited and so proud of being able to share their own personal story. And I think that that's just absolutely remarkable.
Thank you, Evan. And I feel so blessed to have you on the board too. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So you live your passion every single day. What keeps you motivated to do that?
I think what keeps me motivated is that I think about these stories and of the kids and some of the adults too, because we also do a show called Diversity, which is with adults with disabilities get to tell their stories, and some of their stories are so very heartfelt as well. I think what keeps me going is I think about those stories, and also I'm excited about the next things that are going to happen. I think everybody needs some sort of passion that's not a part of maybe their everyday life, like going to work, taking care of kids. I don't have kids, but I can imagine. And just a passion that just fuels them and keeps them going.
Definitely. I think I agree. What would you say has been your greatest success with Tellin Tales and being involved in theater?
I think that my greatest success is the lives that have changed. I think that's my greatest success. That people who maybe didn't know what they wanted to do with their lives came out of the workshop knowing. For example, I have one of my performers, Dee, who came to us through St. Martin's Church, because we in the Austin neighborhood, and they were they were a teacher. They lived in Vietnam for a while, and were kind of lost now, and had a visual disability, and wasn't sure what they wanted to do anymore, and took the class that leads up to diversity, and found out that they were like an excellent storyteller and writer and performer, and that's exactly what happened. Now they know what they want to do in life. it's just a beautiful thing, and I think that has to be the biggest success, is the lives that have changed, and also the people that have gotten excited along the way in order to help us. I think that's a way that this passion has been kept alive, not just through me, but through people that are just so excited about it. Like, I don't know, like the whole board, like you, Evan, and like our costume designer Mina is like crazy for the organization, loves it. There, and then we have kids that are now becoming kids who were with us when they were young, are now young adults and are becoming mentors. And I think I love that. I think that's the greatest success, is when you can build something and then other people are so excited about it that they come along with you on the journey.
And I think it's cool myself watching the apprentices become the mentors, and how it almost comes full circle with some of those actors that are in shows. And so I think the number of lives that you've touched and changed, Tekki, is amazing, and you should be so proud of yourself.
Thank you. I am. In fact, the one cool little story is I was driving along the Kennedy on my way home, and it was a really nice day, so I had the window open, passenger window. And I'm driving next to a car, and some guy um, yells out the window, "I've seen you perform. You're a great storyteller. Thank you." And it was just like the coolest thing. I was like, almost veering off the road. It was so nice of him. I didn't know him.
That's so funny. You're a local celebrity.
I guess. I don't really feel it, but at that moment I did.
What has been the most challenging part of living with your passion for theater?
I think the hardest part is money. It's very, very difficult to raise enough money, and I think we've always been very lucky with individual supporters, just people giving $25, $50. That's how we sustained ourselves for, like, I'd say, like, almost 20 years. And and also the hardest part is having to work a full-time job in order to make ends meet, and that not having a full-time salary, but in the theater. But what's wonderful is that now we have a part-time managing director, Judy, who is fabulous with grants. So she has gotten us some really, really good grants and is working very hard. And that's how the theater is growing now. We have more money. We've always insisted on paying everyone. That was, everyone always got paid, the performers. And we've adhered to that.
Yeah, that's great. What advice do you have for someone who is searching to find their own passion?
Okay, I was thinking about this earlier. I think try a whole bunch of different stuff. See what you like. You know, well, I bet everybody knows a little something that they might think could become their passion. But maybe volunteer somewhere at various things. Like, come and volunteer for Tellin Tales. Like, maybe that could be your passion. Or I don't know what else. Like, I don't know, maybe working with kids in the hospital is your passion. Go and volunteer there. I just really believe in volunteering in order to actually find your passion.
That's such great advice. Is there anything else you'd like to share? Anything upcoming with Tellin Tales that the viewers of 7 with Evan should know?
Yeah. Well, our big spring benefit is May 4th at Main Stage, and it's going to be absolutely wonderful. We are doing a shortened version, like a little sneak peek of our musical. We have the actors are all in line now, and we actually found like 8 or 9 actors with disabilities who can sing, and they are going to be doing a mini performance. And then on Monday, May 6th, we're going to do an industry reading for people that are interested in being backers of the show at the Edge Theater. So that's coming up. And this coming Wednesday, I'm going to be performing at Martyrs for the Chirp radio benefit. And it is, every year they do a thing, first something. And this year it's first fling. So I had to write about my first fling, which is funny because it takes place in high school. So.
How exciting. And if people want to learn more about Tellin Tales, they can visit the Tellin Tales website?
Yep. It's tellintales.org. So it's TELLINTALES.org. So please go there because you can learn all about us and when our shows are and sign up for our e-newsletter. We don't send out a ton of them, so don't worry, but I think you'll really enjoy hearing what's going on with us. Thanks.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Tekki, for joining me today and sharing about Tellin Tales and your passion for theater. You've been wonderful, and I am so appreciative to have you as a guest.
Thank you, Evan, and good luck. And good luck to all of you out there. Whether you have found your passion or searching for your passion, keep going. Thanks.
Well, thank you, Tekki. You have just viewed 7 with Evan. I'm Evan Trad, CEO of Team Evan, where every vision activates knowledge, and we shape vision into reality. Visit www.goteamevan.com to find out about our latest products and services. Thank you, and make sure to keep those visions activated.